Hold up. Manny Hostin divorcing her husband after a $450 million insurance fraud scandal just exploded across the headlines? Yeah, you heard that right. The woman who spent years lecturing America about morality and justice is now packing her bags as her own household crumbles under accusations of massive criminal fraud. And guess what? It's not just ugly, it's career-ending ugly. Because the allegations against Dr. Manny Hostin, Sonny's husband, aren't some small misunderstanding. They involve kickbacks, fake surgeries, insurance scams, and a possible 20-year prison sentence. And Sonny? She's watching everything she built come crashing down. Before we dive into this absolute media meltdown, smash that like button to stay informed, and make sure you subscribe if you're tired of fake media protecting their own. Did you just subscribe? You're awesome. Alright, let's break this scandal down piece by piece. Buckle up, because Sonny's perfect life just turned into a legal nightmare. For years, Manny Hostin wasn't just another voice on daytime television. She was the voice of supposed moral clarity. Sitting proudly at The View's iconic table, she built her brand on righteous outrage. Lecture after lecture, segment after segment, she hammered home one message. Ethics matter. Accountability matters. Truth matters. She wasn't afraid to scorch politicians who stumbled. She roasted CEOs caught in scandals without mercy. She threw Hollywood celebrities under the bus for even the hint of impropriety. Sonny made it her mission to present herself as America's courtroom judge, jury, and executioner, all before lunchtime. In Sonny's carefully curated world, if you were corrupt, even a little, you deserved to be exposed. Publicly, brutally, permanently.
How did a convicted felon resonate more with Americans?
I mean, I just didn't like the optics of a convicted felon sitting in the White House near a fireplace.
Now is what we said, that we have a convicted felon in the White House. Nominate a convicted felon.
Tell me why she got her husband is named in a lawsuit in insurance fraud.
But now, the spotlight she once wielded so confidently has swung around, and it's pointed straight at her front door. Because the scandal now, it's not about some distant politician. It's not about a faceless CEO. It's her own husband, Dr. Manny Hostin, sitting dead center in the scandal of the decade. A man once praised as a top orthopedic surgeon, a trusted figure in the medical community, now officially named in a bombshell $450 million lawsuit. Yes, $450 million. And this isn't just any lawsuit. This is a lawsuit so enormous, legal analysts are whispering that it could rival and even eclipse some of the biggest organized crime takedowns in New York history. Bigger than some mafia cases. Let that sink in. And the allegations? Devastating. Dr. Manny Hostin is accused of orchestrating an insurance fraud scheme so brazen, so cruel, that it makes Wall Street scandals look tame by comparison. Court documents say he performed fake surgeries on real people, people who trusted him, working class Americans, Uber drivers, Lyft drivers, taxi drivers, people who literally grind through backbreaking hours on the streets to put food on the table. And allegedly, he used their pain as profit, exaggerated their injuries, pushed them into needless surgeries, filed mountains of fraudulent insurance claims, all for the money. And now as the spotlight burns hotter, Manny Hostin's name, her brand, her credibility is tied to every single headline. Not because she committed the fraud herself, but because for years she demanded accountability from everyone else. And now the world is demanding it from her.
Waiting all day for this one. I've been waiting my whole life for this one.
I mean, I agree with mostly everything that's been said. I mean, we know that, only about 31% of Americans trust our healthcare system. We have a terrible healthcare system. And, doctors suffer because of big corporations as well. Doctors that want to do good, like my husband, operates on someone even though they don't have insurance, and then has to sue health insurance companies to get paid for the work that he's been trained his whole life to do. So there are a lot of problems with.
Let's peel back the curtain on exactly what this lawsuit says Manny Hostin did. Because it wasn't clumsy, it wasn't sloppy, it was a system, a machine, engineered for maximum profit. According to chilling court documents, patients would walk in with minor injuries, think sprains, muscle pulls, maybe a hairline fracture. But instead of basic treatments like physical therapy, ice packs, or rest, they were fast-tracked toward invasive surgeries. These unnecessary surgeries were done not to heal patients, but to boost insurance payout numbers. In exchange for every surgery performed, the lawsuit claims that surgery centers paid Manny and other doctors referral bonuses a sanitized term for illegal kickbacks. The fraud didn't stop there. Paperwork was doctored. Injuries were exaggerated. Insurance companies were lied to, scammed into paying out millions they didn't owe. And the payouts, they didn't land neatly on paychecks. No, the lawsuit details hidden dividends, secret cash transfers, off-the-books consulting fees, all designed to cover the money trail. We're not talking about a few isolated surgeries here. We're talking about an entire factory of fraud operating behind closed doors, hidden from public view until now. And here's the kicker. If convicted, experts say Dr. Manny Hostin could be staring down a prison sentence of up to 20 years. 20 years. That's not just a career ender. That's a life-shattering, reputation-destroying, legacy-erasing catastrophe. 20 years behind bars for a man Sunny Hostin has publicly called the moral backbone of her life. And while Sunny has gone on air, defensively claiming that it's just a misunderstanding, behind the scenes, sources say everything is falling apart. Whispers of marital tension, private meetings with crisis PR teams, furious late-night phone calls with lawyers. Because Sunny knows, this isn't just a scandal. This could be the collapse of everything she built. And the worst part? It's only the beginning.
You guys would know if your wives were up to some nefarious stuff. Let's just not forget who she is. She's been, for years, lecturing America about morality, inequality, systemic failures. And look at her track record. How many times has she had to go on in the past 2 months and look at the camera and do a legal apology? It always comes back to them, all right? So when you said this is the largest RICO case ever filed in the state of New York, you guys wrap that around your brain. That's bigger than the mafia case. Like the mafia one was number one. This one takes it over.
Behind the scenes, a storm is brewing that even the View's cameras can't spin. Multiple sources close to Sunny Hostin are now whispering the unthinkable. She's preparing to file for divorce. And it's not a rumor floating around tabloids. It's real. It's happening. And it's messy. Why would Sunny, who has spent years projecting the image of the perfect, empowered, accomplished woman with a rock-solid family behind her, make such a drastic move? Simple. Because this scandal isn't just staining her husband's reputation. It's sinking her entire brand. Her meticulously crafted public image, the champion of ethics, the voice of justice, the defender of the little guy, gone in ashes. Insiders claim Sunny was absolutely blindsided by the depth and scale of the allegations against Dr. Manny Hostin. Yes, she knew he had insurance disputes. Yes, she knew lawsuits sometimes happen in the medical world. But what she didn't know was the mountain of secret payouts, the alleged falsified paperwork, the whispers of organized racketeering charges, RICO charges usually reserved for gangsters and crime families. When investigators rolled out the internal documents, when Sunny saw with her own eyes the emails, the hidden payments, the instructions to inflate injury severity, she realized the harsh truth. There was no saving this. No quick apology tour. No PR spin cycle. No tearful on-air confession that would make America forgive and forget. Not her marriage. Not her image. Not her multi-million-dollar career. Because let's be real, how could Sunny Hostin, the queen of justice, the crusader against corruption, sit there on daytime television, lecturing America, while her own home was allegedly knee-deep in one of the biggest insurance fraud cases in New York history? She couldn't. It would be the final, fatal blow to her credibility. And Sunny knows it. That's why, according to 2 separate insider leaks, her legal team is working overtime, quietly drafting divorce papers behind the scenes. No press release, no dramatic split announcement. Just cold, brutal paperwork silently preparing for the next media explosion. Because once those papers hit the public record, the story changes overnight. From Sunny Hostin defends her family, to Sunny Hostin cuts ties and runs for her career. And believe me, that fallout is going to be nuclear. Let's not sugarcoat this. Sunny Hostin built an entire career on calling out hypocrisy. It wasn't just her side hustle. It was her brand. Week after week, episode after episode, she sat at the View's table, blasting. Politicians who lied, CEOs who stole, celebrities who failed to live up to their words. She prided herself on being the woman who kept it real, who demanded transparency, who spoke truth to power. But now, the mirror has turned. And Sunny? She's trapped in the very web she spent years spinning for others. Because when her own family got caught in a headline-grabbing scandal, she didn't keep it real. She didn't demand transparency. She didn't speak truth to power. Instead, she defended it. Publicly, loudly, calling it a smear campaign, blaming greedy insurance companies, claiming her husband was a victim of a broken system, dodging accountability at every turn, exactly the same playbook she eviscerated other people for using. And guess what? Viewers aren't forgiving her. Not this time. Social media erupted like a volcano, drowning Sunny in a tidal wave of brutal backlash. Hashtags lit up every platform. A Sunny scandal. Justice for patients. Viewers against fraud. Watch accountability now. Hypocrisy exposed. Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, it didn't matter. Millions of Americans who once nodded along to Sunny's lectures are now shaking their heads in disgust. Because people aren't stupid. They know when someone is standing on principle, and when someone is hiding behind it. Even mainstream outlets, who usually bend over backwards to protect the view, have been forced to cover the growing scandal, because it's just too massive to ignore. The court of public opinion already delivered its verdict. Manny Hostin, guilty of hypocrisy, and the damage is irreversible. Sunny isn't just losing a lawsuit, she's losing her audience. She's losing her credibility. She's losing the one thing she thought she could never lose, the moral high ground. And at this point, it may already be too late to save anything at all.
I'm profoundly disturbed. I was so hopeful that a mixed race woman married to a Jewish guy could be elected president of this country. And I think that it had nothing to do with policy. I think this was a referendum of cultural resentment in this country.
Buckle up, because what's happening behind the scenes at ABC right now? It's absolute chaos. We're talking about DEFCON 1 meltdown. Inside the glossy studios where The View is taped, where smiles are painted on and laughter echoes through the halls, there's no laughter today. There's no jokes, no lighthearted banter. Only fear. Because Manny Hostin's scandal? It's not just a personal matter anymore. It's a full-blown corporate crisis. And producers? They're scrambling like never before. Emergency meetings are happening around the clock, sometimes at 6 a.m., sometimes past midnight. Insiders say top executives have been called off vacations. Producers are being summoned into hush-hush, high-security Zoom calls labeled only as crisis containment. Even the most senior PR reps are reportedly working 16-hour shifts, crafting statements, prepping rebuttals, running worst-case simulations. Why? Because advertisers are panicking. Major sponsors, the brands who keep the View's lights on, are nervous. Really nervous. Because let's be honest, no brand wants their shiny logo flashing right before a co-host is exposed in a $450 million insurance fraud scandal. No brand wants to be associated with the smell of corruption. No brand wants to take the social media heat when viewers start connecting dots. Already whispers have started. Big advertisers freezing new deals. Longtime partners asking tough questions. Marketing executives demanding distance between their brands and the controversy. And if advertisers walk, the whole show bleeds fast. ABC knows it. The View's showrunners know it. And Sunny? She's feeling it. Multiple insiders have leaked that top ABC executives are already drafting contingency plans behind closed doors. And here's the ugly truth. They're preparing for the possibility of pushing Sunny out. Forcefully. Here's what's reportedly on the table. Soft goodbye scripts being written just in case. Replacement auditions for new co-hosts quietly happening under the radar. Scheduled damage control interviews, ready to roll if things hit the fan even harder. Internal memo templates titled Sunny's Departure, Talking Points for Press. Because whether Manny Hostin survives this scandal in court or not, her time in daytime TV might already be over. And not because of a conviction, not because of a jury verdict, but because of the one thing ABC fears even more. Public backlash, because you can spin a bad take, you can apologize for a heated moment, you can even recover from a political controversy. But a multi-hundred-million-dollar insurance fraud lawsuit involving your spouse? That's radioactive, and executives know it. The decision now isn't about guilt or innocence. It's about optics. It's about money. It's about protecting the brand. Because to advertisers, to corporate sponsors, Manny Hostin just became a risk to viewership. A risk to revenue, a risk to the reputation The View spent decades building. And that is the one thing they won't tolerate.
In what appears to be an ironic twist of fate, the husband of Manny Hostin from The View, he has been accused of federal insurance fraud in the largest RICO case ever filed in the state of New York. Orthopedic surgeon Dr. Emmanuel Hostin is among nearly 200 defendants named in this case. He's accused of getting kickbacks by performing surgery and fraudulently billing a company that insures taxi companies, Uber, and Lyft drivers. This lawsuit alleges that Hostin and his co-defendants knowingly provided fraudulent medical and other healthcare services, including arthroscopic surgeries. The insurance firm American Transit was then billed in exchange for kickbacks and/or other compensation, which were disguised as dividends or other cash distributions. Hostin's attorney told the Daily Mail, ironically or unironically, his client denies each and every allegation and called the lawsuit, unironically, blanket, scattershot, meritless lawsuit by a near-bankrupt insurance carrier.
So while Sunny sits in her dressing room, maybe still clinging to the idea that she can weather the storm, behind closed doors, the network she helped build into a daytime empire is already drafting her exit papers. Because once the advertisers run, the show doesn't just change, it collapses. And Sunny Hostin, she might be the first casualty, all because of a scandal she thought would quietly disappear. But instead, it's threatening to take her down in flames. And trust me, the clock is ticking fast.
Attorney General means that you're responsible for the Department of Justice. And the Department of Justice is one of the largest law enforcement agencies in the world. And it's very serious business. I mean, you have the Civil Rights Division, Antitrust Division, the Criminal Division, U.S. Attorney's offices, the FBI. And within the Department of Justice, you know, you have the Sex Crimes Unit, which is what I was a part of, child sex crimes and child trafficking. How could you nominate someone with allegations of child trafficking trafficking across state lines and having sex with a 17-year-old? My understanding, further on in the interview, they discussed the fact that once he finds out that she's 17, he stops having sex with her. Well, statutory sex doesn't require you to know what age the person is. It only requires the age. And so if these things
So wait
are
a minute.
true...
So if you're having sex with an underage girl,
yes,
she tells you she's 18,
yes,
and you have it anyway, you're
yes,
still liable.
Yes, you
Yeah,
still
okay.
are.
She's actually still only 17.
Just to clarify.
Yeah. And so I'm deeply disturbed at the lack of judgment that we are already seeing from the president-elect.
Sonny, you have a legal note.
I do have a legal note. Thank you, Whoopi. Matt Gaetz has long denied all allegations, calling the claims, quote, invented, and saying in a statement to ABC News that this false smear following a 3-year criminal investigation should be viewed with great skepticism, that DOJ investigation was closed with no charges being brought.
All right, folks, now it's your turn to weigh in. And trust me, after everything we just uncovered, your voice matters more than ever. Do you think Sunny Hostin should immediately file for divorce to salvage what's left of her public image? Can she really sit at that view table, wagging fingers about justice and accountability while this scandal hangs over her like a storm cloud? Or has the damage already been done? Can Sunny Hostin ever truly recover her reputation after this nuclear meltdown? Or will every lecture she gives from now on just sound like hollow noise, hypocrisy wrapped in makeup and bright studio lights? And here's the real burning question. Should The View cut ties with her now, before the fallout drags the entire show under? Because let's be honest, once sponsors start pulling out, once viewers start switching channels, once headlines start reading The View's Sunny Hostin linked to insurance fraud scandal, there's no spinning it, there's no saving it, there's only sinking. So tell me, should ABC rip the Band-Aid off now, or risk bleeding out slowly? Drop your thoughts below. I'm watching every single comment like a hawk. I want to know what you think. No sugarcoating, no holding back. Let's have the conversation that mainstream media is too scared to touch. And before you go, seriously, don't forget, smash that like button if you believe accountability shouldn't depend on celebrity status. Subscribe right now for more jaw-dropping, uncensored updates the mainstream networks are too cowardly to report. Share this video with someone who still naively believes The View is just harmless daytime chatter, because they need to see what's really happening behind the cameras. Because here's the brutal truth. When you build your career standing on a soapbox, when you preach about virtue, justice, and transparency, when you tear others down for their mistakes, you better be ready when life finally turns the spotlight on you. And Manny Hostin. Oh, she's feeling that spotlight now. And folks, it's just the beginning. Stay tuned and hit subscribe if you haven't. Because if you think this storm is over, you're not ready for what's coming next.